Destination gaming was an issue that we took on, and even though we didn't all see eye to eye, it started a dialogue. It did point out that we are the focal point of the whole world. It's about the strength of the Miami brand. We are known as one of the best places to live, work, and play, and the planning done at the Chamber is at the heart of it all. We could tell early on that it was going to be a busy Chamber year, perhaps our busiest and best year yet. It's the third consecutive year that the Chamber held more than 200 events, providing networking, knowledge, and brand development for our members and their companies. And our events attract and grow membership as more people understand the advantage of being part of the largest business organization in the 8th largest market in America. Just days after last year's Goals Conference, it all began with our monthly trustee luncheon, considered one of the top 10 executive speaking forums in America. Hundreds heard from Coca-Cola's Senior Vice President and McDonald's Division President talk about two of the world's strongest brands. The following month, the Chamber switched gears and saluted our local military with the presentation of the 24th Annual Military Service Person of the Year Awards, with Vice Admiral Joseph D. Kernan, U.S. Navy Deputy Commander. Rounding out the summer luncheons, the Chamber welcomed the county's new mayor and heard his plans for an improved Miami-Dade County. We've also gone social, in a virtual way, with the help of the Marketing Committee. So, find us, follow us, and like us, and be part of the Chamber's social network. With summer in the rearview mirror, September was really back to work time, with the Chamber's annual open house and member marketplace, connecting members to the program of work we established at the Goals Conference. The open house was also the first major membership meeting. When new plans for gaming in Miami surfaced, we took action to see how our members felt about it. We ran a straw poll, the first of several, on the idea of expanding gaming, all with the same result: our support for destination gaming. Also in September, the Chamber's Education Summit brought together the business, government, and education communities to provide insight and perspective on the pressing issues of our education system. As a Chamber, membership growth is always a top priority. We launched a new campaign at the JW Marriott Marquis Hotel with campaign chair Gladys Reed and a strong showing by invigorated teams. As Indian summer began, we celebrated the accomplishments of distinguished community leaders and Leadership Miami alumni at the 6th Annual Salute to Miami's Leaders Awards luncheon. We also celebrated the 20th anniversary of our Sports Hall of Champions with a wow induction and awards program at the American Airlines Arena. Broadening our reach and impact with our international programming, we partnered with Miami-Dade College and began a Spanish language training program for those seeking to conduct business in Spanish. It was a whirlwind in November. We presented Publix with our annual Julia Tuttle Award for Community Involvement and Corporate Citizenship on National Philanthropy Day. It was the 5th year for the Chamber's International Business Leadership Awards. The awardees were recognized alongside Odebrecht USA President and CEO Gilberto Neves, responsible for the successful expansion of Miami International Airport's North and South terminals and completion of the Adrian Arce Center for the Performing Arts of Miami-Dade County. Our annual Sustainable South Florida Awards continued to grow, and we made sure we were being green. The CO2 emissions of the luncheon were offset by Just Energy, one of North America's largest green energy providers. It was evident by November that destination gaming was a hot-button issue. When the results of the straw poll indicated that more than 75% of those were in favor of destination gaming in South Florida, we knew that the Chamber's Legislative Policy Committee would have work on its hands. The most wonderful time of the year was upon us. Along with the downtown Miami bus tour of the arts and entertainment, Omni, Wynwood, and Midtown districts. It's hopping down there. December also brought educational programs on banking and finance, healthcare, and the 2035 Master Plan for Port Miami. It was also the month where we presented a town hall meeting on the economic development perspective of, guess what, gaming, and the Chamber's committees labored over a position on that issue. We didn't forget the holidays, so we joined with Chamber South and the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau for our 12th annual holiday party at the Falls. The new year was news-making for the Chamber. After spirited discussions, the Chamber's board adopted a resolution of conditional support for, you guessed it, destination gaming. In its second year, the Chamber's annual Economic Summit attracted a broad range of speakers and a large audience of South Florida businesses. We launched the 24th annual edition of our Senior Executive Orientation Program, welcoming executive newcomers to South Florida. And the Creative Industries Committee hosted the NAPTI closing reception celebrating their return to Miami. February began with a special meeting with the Egyptian ambassador to the U.S., a luncheon with Ambassador Gary Dorr of Canada, and the Chamber's annual trip to Tallahassee to advance our state legislative agenda. The Chamber's Youth Leadership Miami program welcomes students from 32 Miami-Dade County public and private high schools as its newest alumni. 7 seniors received scholarships for demonstrating a high level of leadership, academic achievement, and community service. February came to a close with one of the biggest Sand in My Shoes dinners in the Chamber's history. A sold-out audience of more than 900 prominent South Florida business leaders and elected officials were on hand to honor Miami-Dade College President Eduardo Padron for his steadfast dedication to this community. I was proud to read a letter of congratulations to Dr. Padron from President Barack Obama. In March, our leadership programs were in full swing. Leadership Miami, Senior Executive Orientation, the Chamber's Trustees, Chairman Circle, and membership campaign leaders all enjoyed a reception at Red, the steakhouse. Very nice. March began with the up-and-coming members of the Chamber and their 3rd annual Hype Awards. The event was hosted poolside at the Four Seasons. Now that's an awards program. Celebrating the uniqueness of our business community, we held the Top 100 Minority Business Awards. Our hats are off to Bank of America, which has sponsored this awards program since 1983. The March Trustee Luncheon was especially remarkable because of 2 power hitters. The first was Marlins President David Sampson, who gave us an update on the opening of Marlins Park. We were also honored with the last public presentation of retiring FPL President and CEO Armando Oliveira. This year was a great one for our America's Linkage program as we traveled with the Latin Builders Association to Peru. City of Miami Mayor Tomas Regalado joined us and brought an added dimension of importance. Pressing community issues are always on the Chamber radar, so in March we included one committee event focused on the game plan to save Jackson Health. HR Insights turned its sights on a workforce summit. And networking events like the Cocktails to Closing series were among the best attended after-hours receptions. The Cuba Committee launched its series of evening programs featuring the success stories of exile families in our community. After 2 years of planning, the FBI director came to Miami to speak to the South Florida business community, and the Chamber's April Trustee Luncheon was the forum. The following week, the Chamber held a summit focused on Asia. Expert speakers provided rich information on understanding the new relationship between the U.S., Asia, and Latin America. U.S. Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz headlined a dynamic panel discussion on issues related to health care. Then it was wheels up for the Chamber as we headed to the U.S. Capitol for the D.C. fly-in to advance our federal legislative platform. Meanwhile, the Chamber programs continued locally as our New World Center Committee discussed activating the downtown waterfront. And yet another group departed for the final America's Linkage trip of the Chamber year to Panama. The Reemployment and Outplacement Task Force continued their seminars on the realities of today's employment market. Manny Medina headlined the Technology Leaders of the Year Awards, where the tops in tech were honored for their achievements. Just days before the relaunch of One Community, One Goal, the Chamber heard from our Superintendent of Schools, and we presented our NOVO Awards to the community's most innovative nonprofit organizations. A wave of year-end committee meetings and the real awards followed, recognizing the significant impact and success of real estate professionals in our community. It was a special luncheon program where the Chamber presented the Lifetime Achievement Award to the family of the late Ted Pappas, chairman of the Kai's Company and a tremendous individual. We closed the Chamber's major activities again this year with the Healthcare Heroes Award luncheon, celebrating the most important aspect of our community, people helping people. The Chamber is in the people business. It's what we've been doing for 105 years. Every year, it all begins here at the Greater Miami Chamber of Commerce